Well, hey there, it's Elka, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about, is it possible to make money online in 2022? And you might be asking yourself that question because there's so many changes that have happened while we have been undergoing this global pandemic with COVID. And, what's happened to the online space? Is it still as busy as it used to be? Because some countries and some areas are opening up retail spaces again and so on. And so are the results from 2020 and 2021 going to be similar in 2022? And so I'm going to give you some headway into understanding the trends. I'm also going to talk to you about what I feel is really important for us to remember when we're checking to see what we could predict in terms of trends for a coming year when we don't know anything that's happening. And also to give you some really good proof that the way to go is to have an online Zazzle business. That's with the earnings from our coaching clients that have put their faith into the Zazzle platform. They've done the work, they've gotten the training, and they're seeing huge six-figure results. That means 6 figures per year that they're earning that they are now enjoying in that 2020, 2021 year, and they're all set to earn that same amount in 2022 or more. And so this is what I want you to come away with in this podcast, is to help yourself make sure that you get that stats or like all the information you need to make it feel like you can believe it in yourself, not just, what others are doing. And then also, are you choosing the right business model, which is Zazzle, rather than any other online business model like Cafe Press, Zazzle, Society6, Redbubble, any other print-on-demand company, or maybe KDP Publishing or Shopify. And when you look at all of those and then you check them against Zazzle, is Zazzle actually better because it's like a business in a box, right? It's so much less effort to get started and just to capture that trend of the online shopping space. And then to give you that feeling that there's a comfort there in terms of if you wanted to lock in to the coaching and training that we do and we've done now. This is our 5th year doing this, and the results that we're getting, then you can feel as confident as possible that maybe the Zazzle business is exactly what you're looking for in 2022 to get started and to start crushing it as soon as you start doing the work and getting those results. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to cover 3 points, as I mentioned in the introduction. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about the online shopping stats so that you can feel really comfortable that the online space is where you need to be, and to capture some of that dollar value that's being dumped into that online space. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the trends, and then I'm going to go into some of the proof that it's possible for current coaching clients that we have. And even though I can't make any income claim statements, it's certainly really cool to not only see those 2 other people that I keep mentioning, Brandon and Christine, because they are our top earners. And they're also 2 of the people that originally trusted us with our 5-strategy coaching method that came like out of the blue, right? Like it was Jen and I's things that we used to create our basically $1.5 million combined earnings business, which means we've sold $15 million in Zazzle products. And they trusted us when we had no proof that our coaching worked, right? We had proof that it worked for us, but no proof that it worked for anybody else. And so as of 2017, they both started, and then they got really excited because they did relatively well in their first year compared to what they were doing before. And then the rest is history because they just keep getting more training and coaching, which they're still getting. And every single time that they sign up for something else that we offer, then they are getting more and more value out of it, and they get better and better and better to the point where they're running a 6-figure annual business that's cash flow passive cash flow, which is really fun. And they work very little. They work about 20 hours a month. So if that's the thing that you're looking for in 2022 is a cash flow passive business that you have to work very few hours on. Even the students that we take on, or clients we take on, and they're brand new, we say, listen, if you can't feel like it's going to work for you with 20 hours a month, then how is it going to work for you when you're making six figures at 20 hours a month, right? And so get in the practice of being very efficient, use our training, step-by-step processes, and build your business to the point where you're never going to be working that hard. You're going to be working really efficiently and purposefully, but we're not here to put in a ton of hours, right? This is a side hustle that you are looking for in the online space in 2022 that you can do while you're still doing your day job, or homeschooling kids, or driving back and forth from a job where you have to be in contact with a lot of people, and that's scaring you a lot because COVID isn't going away. And so you're just looking for that extra passive income that can then be built into a passive income that can be something that you can even quit your day job with, right? Brandon, for example, is looking to ultimately retire much earlier than the traditional time or year that you are supposed to retire. And that, I did air quotes for anyone who's listening on the podcast, not watching this as a video on our YouTube channel. And Christine also, she's working for her parents in Indonesia, and that's their family business, and so she's super proud that she built this six-figure online business on her own without her parents' help. And even though she has to work 9 to 5 long hours, more than 9 to 5 usually, in her parents' business, she managed to make that happen for her over the last 4 years. And now she's set so she can maybe not work in her parents' business and do the traveling and take extra courses. She wants to do a master's. I hope she does that, and then she'll be traveling to the States, and it'll be so much like her freedom has just been earned by having this side hustle, and then it changes her life, right? And it's going to change Brendan's life when he retires. And so there's so many more people that we can talk about in our coaching program that are doing that. They've got a really big objective in mind that's going to transform their lives, and they know that initially they have to do this as a side hustle. So is this the side hustle that is going to get you to that new transformative life that you are in, you desire, you've been dreaming of? You've got like no other way to figure it out except, holy smokes, now you're listening to this podcast and you realize, wait a minute, other people are doing something for them. How come I'm not doing this for me, right? And so let's look at some of the barriers that might be holding you back and making you feel as if it's not possible for you when it could be, right? And so first of all, I'm going to go into the online business space. And that's always usually like, if you're having any doubts, the biggest doubt is always, will it work, right? Or am I too late to the game? And unfortunately, in this case, you can't use that as an excuse, because the online business space is just booming, right? There's still so many restrictions with regards to COVID isolation and lockdowns, and then it's already been about 1.5 to 2 years where we as consumers have had a whole other way to experience shopping, and we're getting kind of used to it, and we're like it. Like I, for example, used to never like shopping online, even though I worked online for years and years and still do. But I always thought it would be really like a nice, pleasurable experience to go out and to do things, especially since I work from home all the time. But now the convenience of shopping online and having things delivered to your doorstep is incredible, especially big furniture and things like that, right? Where someone's dropping it, like bringing it in for you, and it's not like a big deal to have the delivery arranged. And so this change over time since COVID happened has really increased the online space in terms of people who are willing to use it, find it much more convenient, are finding that they have a lot more selection and variety than they used to have, right? So now, instead of just knowing and being able to access the things that are sort of in your area for physical shopping. Now you can access anything in the entire world, wherever, whenever you want, wherever you want, and it'll be shipped to you at some point, right? Most times it'll be shipped really fast, but with COVID, there might be some issues, but it always seems to get there, right? And so this is really an exciting time to be living in, and also to actually be just jumping into the online space, right? If you've never thought that this is a way to make money and it feels a little bit dubious to you because you're not used to it and no one around you is doing it, this is the best and opportune time. When I first started on the Zazzle platform and got into the online space of online shopping, where I needed the shopping, like people to shop online in order for me to make my money, because I was getting a royalty from Zazzle when people bought things. It was that culture where people didn't even trust the internet and didn't want to give out their credit card information. Literally, I had customers who were emailing me and saying, here's my number, please call me so that I can give you my credit card information, because I don't trust putting it on the Zazzle platform. I'd rather give it to you, who they didn't even know, right? And they were going to let me buy it for them on the Zazzle platform. Well, the irony of that is that I still had to put that credit card information in to the Zazzle marketplace to buy the product, right? Which, in the end, that, like, what they wanted me to do, I couldn't do anyway, because I'm not supposed to do that. But this is the mentality that people had back then. They didn't trust the internet, but they trusted the personal, one-on-one contact, right? And that has obviously changed a lot since I started in 2007. And thank goodness, because this is now like so obvious. You just, even hold out your phone and you go like, click here to the, scanner, and everything's good. You've paid with, Apple Pay or cryptocurrency or whatever. And so this is now the best opportunity for people who are working on that mindset of online is still not trustworthy or safe, or it doesn't work, or there's not enough people on there. There is. In fact, I'm going to give you some stats from a really great article that I'm going to add the link to in the show notes. And it's saying, based on their own research, that and I'm going to read it. Online shopping is growing so fast that the global online shopping market's size nearly hit 4 trillion, right, in 2020. 2020. So that means that it's not even billion anymore. It's trillion. Oh my gosh. When we were excited when it hit a billion, right? And now it's 100 times as much, and even 400, right? It's 4 trillion. And so, and then in the US alone, they're saying that they're expecting 300 million online shoppers by 2023, right? So this is really important, especially since the Zazzle marketplace caters a lot to the U.S. market. So there's 300 million online shoppers that they predict will be just actively shopping all the time on any online platform by 2023. Well, when we get onto the Zazzle platform, we are going to just be exposed to, like, as sellers and designers who couldn't do that at all in a brick and mortar store. We're going to be exposed and have that opportunity to sell to those 300 million people, right? And so I'm in. Are you in? I think we've done enough here to help you understand that online is where to go now, and to at least capture a little bit of that pie. And if you're listening to this and you're starting out and you had a brick and mortar store and you're like a photographer or an artist who's been dealing with galleries and doing your own website and putting your stuff up on Fine Art America or whatever, then there's an opportunity for you to capture that online space, right? Using your branded photography and artwork. There's also a really huge opportunity for people who are creative and are not as well known in galleries and so on, but they're doing really well because they're just as, they're really good painters, or they're really good artists, or they're really good at graphic design or something like that. And then that market, or that type of coaching client that we take on, we help them understand how they can use their art in order for them to service what clients need on the Zazzle platform, right? The customers that are coming to look for certain things, they would love to have your artwork. They just might not buy it as is, right? They might want it as a background or as a supporting graphic or design to the purpose of what they're actually looking for in terms of the way they're going to use the Zazzle product. And that has opened up a lot of opportunity for some people who didn't realize that that was an extra way to make money rather than just showcasing their art, graphic design, or photography as is. And that's one of the things that we're really good at leveraging and helping people with. The second thing is if you're absolutely not a creative, there's so many opportunities for you. And actually, Brandon and Christine, even though Brandon was a photographer, Brandon has just gone into all of the other opportunities that Zazzle has offers in terms of graphics and so on, and he actually purchases some of his graphics, right? And so does Christine. And so even if you're not a really good creative person, you can easily figure it out, and we have all the tools and teach you, and we have even like I have a lot of design training for you to become a better designer, which is the way that people are like classified on the Zazzle platform. Even though you may not have any clue about designing, we can help you figure that out and then start to make money. And so there's so many opportunities. And then the really cool part is that anyone who has another business can use Zazzle also as a way to create merch for themselves, for their company, for their brand, and also give customers certain, products that they might like. That is, like, for example, if you're on a restaurant and you have products that like your brand is really popular and you'd like to offer to sell t-shirts in your restaurant, or you give them a little card that gives you the link to your store online on the Zazzle platform, and then the customers can go and buy themselves the t-shirt, the hat, the beer stein, whatever, with your company brand on it, because you're maybe a local business or not something that's like huge brand, North American wide type of thing, but you want to be as visible with your branding. And so you can do that in terms of this company merch, and you can either offer it for free or as a discount, or have because you can also purchase it on the Zazzle marketplace for less money than you might have to pay at like a place like Staples, or that's in Canada, or any other business center that would create products for you. So there's so many opportunities to use this online space, not just for that passive income, but also for branding and merchandising, and for recognition and increasing your reach with regards to someone who might be in a brick or mortar type business. So huge potential, and that is super, super important for how you can use this as a platform. And yes, you cannot use any other platform, like a print-on-demand platform like Redbubble, Society6, or anything like KDP Publishing or Amazon Merch or Shopify in the same way. You could maybe do it on Etsy, but in Etsy you've got to provide your own products and create those. And so what's the point of that when Zazzle could do it all for you, and it makes it more passive? And so I just find that the Zazzle platform just hits all of my check boxes in terms of letting me enjoy life, not having to work as hard, getting very profitable with my income because I don't have to work as hard and I don't have to resource and do so much labor. I just have to create the products online and present them and market them properly to the audience that Zazzle attracts. And so much of what normally is involved in running a business is not something that I have to deal with, because Zazzle does it for me. And so I'm just so happy about that. And that's maybe where you want to be, is because you want to do this as a side hustle and you don't want to have that much extra time and effort to put into it, right? Okay, I think I've convinced you now. So now the other thing is in the 2022 trends, for people that are purchasing online, what they want is more sustainable. They also want to purchase, just like, when people were investing and they would choose which stocks they would put their money into, or companies, or, any sort of business that they would buy things from. they would want, like over the last couple of years, it's been very much focused on environmentally friendly, sustainability, and the customer experience that they get. And guess what? Zazzle handles all of that. They tick all of those boxes. Because it's what's called a print-on-demand company, or a POD company, which is just short for print-on-demand, then they're doing sustainability even before it was a word, right? They've been doing this since 2005, and the idea here is that a product only gets made for the customer once the customer has paid for it and purchased it. And so there's no waste, right? There's no, oh, let's make, 1,000 t-shirts with this on it and see if it sells. That's a lot of waste, right? Which Zazzle doesn't have waste in that regard. The way their product, how they service the customer is there are blanks in the warehouses, and then only once the customer purchases the digital version of what it would look like, then the Zazzle company or partner goes ahead with printing it and then shipping it and all that stuff. So super eco-friendly, and it's also been very sustainable, and they're always looking for ways to, partner with people around the world that are interested in helping marginalized economies and marginalized groups in terms of like women that in Africa, that kind of thing, so that there's a sustainability in terms of a business model as well as not only just making lots of money because they're selling a ton of glitter stickers. It's really, really a wonderful company if you look into their purpose and their process. And so this is, again, a place where a customer will want to shop because they're going to feel good about it, right? And this is going to help you get more customers because they're going to come flocking to Zazzle based on those principles. And then the customer experience is so unique on the Zazzle platform because of the opportunity that customers have to do what's called customization in real time, which is the thing that Zazzle has patented, and it's the only one of the print-on-demand companies that has this opportunity. I know there might be some people that are trying to make this work on some of the other print-on-demand platforms, but Zazzle has it nailed down, and it's incredibly robust, and people are so happy because it makes it so easy to look at something and customize it to what they want. And everything is open for the opportunity for them to do that. And so therefore the customer has this really great experience. They feel really special that they've been able to manufacture, and I'm air quoting that again for anyone listening to this on the podcast alone, their own product, right? Where else can you do that? I can create my own product specifically the way I want it, and Zazzle will ship it to me, right? Instead of it being, found on Amazon through Alibaba, not sure about the quality and all that stuff. The quality is really good, obviously, but then also you get a chance to see what it'll look like in real time as a customer, and then when you purchase it, you've helped create that product, and that comes from the customization of text and adding graphics and adding your own photography, and it can be their own photography of whatever, or they can be a photo of their dog or their family, and that just makes things so much better and interactive that it's just such a unique shopping experience. So I think I've covered point number 2, where the trend for the optimal shopping experience from the optimal, sustainable, eco-friendly company, you've got it, Zazzle. Okay, so now you're feeling really good that it's a good platform. There's obviously lots of other things about Zazzle that we love. For the most part, it's just really great customer satisfaction, versatility of products, reach all over the world. Anyone anywhere in the world can purchase something. And so you've got so much going for the opportunity to make that money in 2022, right? Okay, so, and the last thing that I want to get into is the proof, right? Because a lot of people on the platform think that you can only make a couple of bucks a year, let alone, $1,000 a month or even $5,000 a month. And what I wanted to let you know is that, yes, it does take some time to get going. You have to do the things at the beginning correctly in order for you to not waste time and, a year later, you're not making any money. In my first year, I wasted a bunch of time because I didn't know what to do. And by the end of it, I only made $90. which is terrible because I quit a 6-figure salaried position to make Zazzle work for me. Don't do that. Do it as a side hustle first. But, after I realized what was needed, I created the 5 strategies. Those 5 strategies are taught in our coaching program. And you can be on the wait list if you'd like for the Profit by Design Academy. We're opening it up again in March of 2022. We open it up twice a year. And when we open it up, then you can join, and it's a year-long program. But most people think it's so amazing and it's so robust, and the way it helps you no matter whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced person on the Zazzle platform. You get the help you need because it's very personalized and specific. And so people stay in this program for a long time. Our top earners are constantly in this program, and they love it because they're getting the help they need. And the one thing I want to tell you, though, is it takes some time, as I mentioned, and I sort of went on a little bit of a diversion there, but the idea here is that you have to decide, are you going to put that time and effort in, and are you going to waste time so that it's going to take even longer? And I can definitely predict that if you don't get any training, you're going to be floundering, and you're going to be taking much longer to get this to work for you. But if you want to start moving faster and faster and get the results quicker, and even though I can't make any income claim statements, it's really important that you get the basic foundation of the training, and then you implement the strategies properly. Because a lot of people, even in our coaching program, if they don't implement them properly, even years later, it's like, you still haven't done module 3. So I guess it's very predictable that you haven't moved forward with your earnings. But once everything is done the way it needs to, and it's basically how you run a business, right? We have to decide, how do we run an effective business on the Zazzle platform? And when you do that and you get the help that you need to get that going, then it's a matter of understanding how to scale a business, right? You've figured out Zazzle, but now how do you scale it? And so all of these steps have to be in this process to get to those 6-figure years. But then it's wonderful once you get there. For the longest time, Jen and I together, we've made $1.5 million in take-home earnings. And so that's really wonderful, because if you divide that up by how many years we've been on the platform, you kind of get a sense for how long it's been and what kind of yearly income we're making, right? It's gone up and down for personal reasons. I've also, gone less and more. But it's okay, because on average, I've been making about 6 figures every year. And I love that. And it's obviously made my life completely different, because then I can do what I want, work on the Zazzle platform for somewhere between 4 to 20 hours a month. And then I can enjoy life. I can do things when I want to. I can be anywhere I want to. Obviously with COVID, we're a little bit more restricted, but before that we were always traveling all over the world, and I would spend 2 to 3 months at a time somewhere, because I didn't have to be at a job. And so if that's kind of where you want to be, and also with Zazzle, I can't even express it. I get tongue-tied, because if it wasn't for Zazzle, I would not have experienced my kids growing up. And yes, they're definitely older now, but they allowed me to be there for them. And even it was interesting, because it wasn't just when they were little, right? I started this business a little bit later on. They were already almost through middle school, right? But the idea here is that the rest of their high school years, and then being able to go out to do things with them and see them when they went to university. And it's just amazing. I was free for them, rather than they having to miss out, I miss out because their thing, whatever they were doing happened at a certain time, and I would have been busy, but I wasn't, because I could work my Zazzle business around whatever was more important in my life. And it's also happened that, a lot of, there's been a lot of things that have been not so good in our life. I've had 3 deaths in the last 7 years, in our family, and people were sick before that, and so I was able to take my time with them and spend the last moments with them and take care of them while my Zazzle business was still passively making me income. And so I just I cannot express my gratitude enough for what Zazzle has done for me in terms of giving me that opportunity to be my own entrepreneur and create cash flow every month for me for things that sometimes I'd made in 2008 and they're still making me money today. So in terms of you getting started, if you haven't already sort of had the, oh my gosh, I fit one of these, situations, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or I want to retire early, or I want to travel the world when COVID opens up, or I don't want to work anymore because of COVID. I want to be at home on my computer. All of these things are going to help you make that decision, whether it's possible for you to earn money on the Zazzle platform this year. Now, let's just go through a couple of the people that we do know the earnings from. We've had almost 500 people go through our training. I think it's even more right now. But the basic core 5 strategies training, and we've helped people make over $3 million combined since 2017, which is really awesome. And then when it comes to the levels of where, Zazzle has this cool program where you can get recognized and you get these badges so that the customers can see that you're a top seller, right? So they'll trust you more. And so it's not only for the trust, but it's also a really fun thing to say, I'm this high up in terms of my earnings, and so I'm good at what I do, and you can trust me, whatever. But we use these as a way to cheer people on, because if you are at the bronze level, you've made $1,000 in lifetime earnings from US-based sales, and then if you're at the silver level, you've made $25,000 in lifetime earnings from US-based sales. And I keep qualifying that because all of the people that are in our coaching program have actually made more than what we say that they've made, because the lifetime earnings from US sales isn't everything, right? That's maybe about 80% of their income, and the rest comes from other sales throughout the world. And also from referrals and other things like that, which I can't get into in this podcast. But the idea here is that from our perspective, when someone reaches $25,000 in earnings, when before they started with us, they were making zero or nothing, or zero or nothing, zero or just a little bit of something, then we're so proud of them. We're so excited for them, because they're so much on their way that they are they've figured out the hard part, right? To get to that $25,000 in lifetime earnings. And we already have 27 people there. And then we have 12 people at the gold level, which is $100,000. So the 12 people who have reached gold, they obviously were also part of the silver level, but we took them out of the silver level, and we're just counting them once, right? So those 12 people would be added on to the 27 that are currently at the silver level, right? And so then we also have 3 people who are at the $250,000 mark. And these people, the 2, especially Brandon and Christine, they were at very low income before they started with us in 2017. So that's really important, that you understand that it takes a time to have your success be built up. And once you get that training and that you implement all the training, that there is a really great chance that you have that income potential. Obviously, I can't make any income claim statements, and I cannot do that. You have to really do the work. And and obviously there's certain circumstances that may, even if you did the work, not have that happen for you. But what's really important is that you've got the best chance of everything. You've got the market, you've got the space, you've got the platform, you've got the training. So in 2022, let's just see how far you can get and see if you can be the best that you can be, and make it all work for you, so that you can start to see those numbers like our clients that we've had that have been with us over the last 4 to 5 years, which is really exciting. So thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast, and we hope I hope that I've inspired you and that we as a community have inspired you to take on Zazzle and see if you can make money in 2022 on the Zazzle platform. So thanks so much for watching or listening. Take care.